Baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. Duh. Woo-hoo-hoo. Good morning, Flosstube. It's me again, already with another list of things to talk about. Really liking this once every couple of days situation that I've got going on here, because trying to remember everything that happened over the past month, if you just do it one at a time, is not easy. Not easy for an old brain like mine, but once every couple of days, I'm liking this. First off, something non-stitching related. I know I'll try to make it quick, but one of the greats, one of my favorites, died yesterday, I think. Was it yesterday? David Lynch. Oh, that one hurt. David Lynch died yesterday. And I don't want this to turn into just the celebrity obituary channel. I was talking to a friend of mine about this, about how we're kind of at that age now, or they're at that age where the people that we grew up watching and loving are they might start dropping soon. I hope not, but look at the list of people that are 80 plus right now. Pacino, De Niro, Martin Scorsese, Joe Pesci, somebody who's not in Goodfellas. Jack Nicholson is pushing 90. Gene Hackman is in his 90s. Dustin Hoffman, Bob Dylan, Paul McCartney, Mick Jagger. I mean, I hope they live forever, but I'm bracing for a wave of sadness over the next few years. Anyway, David Lynch was a sad one for me. I really love David Lynch. There was a time, young Stitch man, teenage artist that he thought he was, I wanted to be a filmmaker. I wanted to make movies, and David Lynch was one of those guys that sort of opened up a whole new perspective on movies for me. It's not just Arnold Schwarzenegger movies and this popular stuff that comes to my local theater. There's nothing quite like the experience of seeing Eraserhead for the first time, especially when you're young and you're trying to discover a different side of movies. That's a different side of movies right there. And then when I was I think I was 19, and I was full force, let's get the creative juices flowing, and I was way into my movie phase at age 19. I'm a filmmaker. I love movies. I know everything about movies. As young people do, I knew everything, and I loved everything about the things that you've never heard of before. But anyway, at 19, that's when Mulholland Drive was released. With Mulholland Drive, for me, is David Lynch's masterpiece. It's my favorite David Lynch movie. It's one of those movies where when it's over, I just sat and just stared silently at the wall for 5 minutes when it was over. That was everything to me in that year that it was released. It was indescribable. Hey, look, there's Maple. I'm gonna watch Mulholland Drive tonight again, and I'm expecting it to be every bit as great as I remember it being. I watched Blue Velvet last night, also every bit as great as I remember it being. And when it was over, I did the only thing I knew how to do. I made a little David Lynch tribute, some Blue Velvet for us to all stitch on. Here's what it looks like in all of its blue velvety glory. It's all I know how to do. A tribute to a great artist and filmmaker. Now let's all stitch in his honor. Not sure exactly what that would be. Lady in the Radiator. All right, enough about him. Let's talk about me. I was hoping in my last video, if you remember, that I was going to bump up to 1,000 sales on Etsy. And, within about 3 minutes of posting my video, you all did it for me. Thank you very much. That was very exciting. Actually, something very touching happened in regards to that. Oh, Maple just jumped up with me. Oh my god. Shit. She just scaled the wall. So something that I was actually more moved by than I might have expected to be. I don't know if you know this or not, but my very first sale on Etsy or anywhere, the first sale that I ever made where somebody actually paid me money for one of my things, was purchased by Emma, my friend Emma from Emma X Stitching. And wouldn't you know it, lo and behold, who was my 1,000th sale? Emma from Emma X Stitching. I was actually quite touched by that. I sent her as a bit of a thank you for that. I sent her a bunch of garbage along with it. You know, some of the mistakes I make sometimes, you know, I'm not perfect. I know you think that I am, but I'm not perfect. And sometimes when I dye fabric, my proportions aren't right. It turns out too light. It turns out too dark. I had a piece of my green fabric that somehow had a little red dot in the middle of it. How does it, I don't know, but it all just goes kind of into the junk pile, which I turned into the Emma pile. And I said, hey, thanks for 1,000 sales. Have some garbage. And did you see the kind words that she had to say about me in her most recent video? I'll play it for you in case you missed it. Here you go.
How beautiful is Darcy Cameron? He's not called Darcy Cameron, is he? Stitchman Darcy. I love Stitchman Darcy so much.
Touching. Absolutely touching. And if I may say, I absolutely love Emma, even though she is really fucking annoying.
How beautiful is Darcy Cameron?
All right, and on to the things that I've been working on in the last few days. True to my word, shockingly, I have only been working on Trapeze Girl for the last few days. I haven't got spectacularly far because of your kindness and your shoppery, shopping in my shop. I've been really busy, like, you know, remaking and replacing a lot of stuff and restocking my shop. You know how it is when you're so busy. But I did get all the way across the top of the first page, which I'm quite excited about. I know it doesn't look like much yet, but it will soon. I don't know that I'm going to just be working on only this. So how fast I'm going to get to this, but just on the first page alone, you're going to get a real big chunk of her head and face, and maybe even the little hat she's wearing. It's not spread out over like 50 pages. So, you know, right around here, we're gonna start getting some hair and hat and head and eyes and face. So it's gonna look like something in not too long. Although I don't know, you know, I don't know if I'm gonna continue on. It's still gonna stay in like the main pile of mainery. What am I talking about? But we've also got Sunflower Cottage, which I haven't worked on since which I haven't worked on since my last video, but I'm still way into. And I kind of like that I'm into these two things right now as my two main things because they're so different and I love them both so much. But like this one with a little bit darker, and this one really like bright and vibrant, depending on what I'm in the mood for at the moment. It's nice to be into two things fairly equally that are so different from each other. I'm really, really enjoying and feeling really happy stitching on either one of these things right now. It's been great. Maple, maple, maple syrup. Hi, it's me, Maple, the prettiest girl in the whole wide world. Hi. One thing to go along with those two things coming soon, I am going to be starting Jacob's Baldequin Birdies very soon. So watch out for that. I've got my Throne of Blood fabric all ready to go. Hang on a second. I dyed myself a nice piece of red Throne of Blood to stitch the Baldequin Birdies on. And I'm going to be using some Betty White Roxy floss. I'm just waiting on the floss. I ordered it. I paid for it. I'm just waiting for it. Come on, Caroline, let's get going. As soon as I get my Betty White Roxy floss, I'm gonna start doing this. Maybe I'll have a start on that before this video's done. You know, by the time I post it, maybe I'll have started it. Hopefully. If not, pretty soon. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do it. Just need the floss. Speaking of, back to me, Throne of Blood. Remember this in my last video? I was like, I just made 3 of these just as a little test run to see if you guys like it or not. Woo! Well, those 3 sold out almost instantly. And then I made more, and those ones sold out. And then I made more, and those ones sold out. I think these 2 at the moment are the only ones I have left. So I hope when you get it, you like it. I love it. I'm excited to stitch on it too. Red is my favorite color. I could never quite get a red fabric that I was happy with. And so something just clicked with this, and now this is my new favorite. And I all the people that thank you, by the way, and for buying it when you receive it. I hope you like it. Don't leave me a bad review. All right, I think that's good for now. Undetermined right now, since I just before I sat down here, I just finished that top row of Trapeze girl right there again. See, in case you forgot. Just finished that about 20 minutes ago. So I don't know if I'm going to continue on or if I'm going to grab sunflower or what I'm going to do. But with a bit of a quick cut here, we're going to find out together. What did I do? Well, here we are again a couple of days later. You'd never know it. I wear the same thing every day. Maybe my beard's a couple of days longer. Can you tell? Doesn't really matter. So what has happened in the last 5 or 6 days? I better tell you before I forget, because I will forget. I continued working on Trapeze Girl. I got a little bit farther. I will show you as soon as I put this down. This far. I got this far. That's about another halfway across. I got a scratch on my hand. Where'd that come from? Who knows? I got halfway across another row. I think over here, right around here, I'm going to start hitting the top of her hairline and start seeing her face a little bit. Although, you know, I accidentally got myself a little bit overwhelmed with whips already in the last few days. I don't know when that's going to happen. We'll see. So not to cause any confusion about my little eye roll there, I am still way into this and still want to be working on it. But the problem that I'm running into, which I'm sure you can all relate to, is that each thing that I'm working on and each new thing that I'm way into that too. And there's only so many hours in a day. And I feel like it's only January and I'm already kind of overwhelming myself. But I'll tell you about that. Let's get into it. One thing that I did that was just kind of a quick, like, you know, didn't exist and then suddenly existed and then it started and finished just like that was what in my last little segment here, when I was talking about my blue velvet David Lynch fabric, I sort of in passing, just off the top of my head, said, well, what are we ever going to stitch on that? I don't know. Lady in the Radiator. and then when I was editing it, I was like, yeah, why not? Yes, on a complete whim, I whipped up a little Radiator Lady eraser head thing and then stitched it up and put it in my shop. And it's yours for the taking now. just like that. Let's all go watch some David Lynch movies and stitch some Actually, I have, speaking of which, hang on a second. I'm all over the fucking place here. Speaking of, and look how many I have left. Just for you. I don't even know if I talked about this. I mean, I talked about it in my last little segment here, but I didn't tell anybody this exists, I don't think. I just sort of just threw it up in my shop and left it there. A couple of you found it on your own and bought it. Thank you. But I don't know, maybe I should put it at least in an Instagram story or something. Let somebody know it's there. Sometimes I just throw stuff up there and just see what happens. Anyway, there's something actually much better coming down the road that might go along with this a lot better. That, you know, is going to be sort of a companion piece if you want to stitch something on this that is actually a little bit more related to David Lynch and Blue Velvet. And I've already said too much. This isn't really my story to tell. I shouldn't have said anything. But I guess I'm just gonna have to leave it at that. There might be something cool coming down the road that you're not expecting, and I wish I could say more than that, but I think I've already said too much, and I'm gonna get in trouble. So then, guess what happened after that? Guess what happened after that? Okay, you might be thinking, no big deal. It's not that. It's not really a whip. It's a start and a finish, and it's done with, and it's over with, right? So just get back to sunflower and trapeze. What's the big deal? Well, here's the big deal. Emma, my old friend, Emma X Stitching, who does all the stitch-alongs all the time and is always trying to rope me into these stitch-alongs. And sometimes I give in. Not too often, but sometimes I give in. But she's doing one right now called Greenhouse of Oddities, which she has mentioned to me several times, trying to like sort of coax me into it. And I'm just like, nah. But then I really looked at this. I like the name. It sounds like something I would like. So I really looked at it and actually looked at the, what is this Greenhouse of Oddities? And I looked at it and I liked it and I fucking bought it. Here it is right here. And I goddamn got roped into it and started it. I've done this much already. And I have to say, I'm already really enjoying it. And what do you think of the fabric choice of this one? I dyed this just for this. This doesn't exist in my shop. It doesn't exist anywhere else except in my hand right now. What do you think? Want some? Maybe I'll make some more. Is this translating on video as green? Because this is green. At least it's supposed to be green. I used green dye. I mean, yeah, it's got some dark highlights in it or whatever, but like, it's green. I've sent several pictures of this from several different angles to Emma, and she keeps telling me it's not green. I don't know what. Maybe it's my lighting. Maybe it's her eyeballs. Maybe British people just don't know what green is. I don't know, but it's green, isn't it? That's not green. That's some sort of grey, blue, pink, purple. There's no green in there at all. That's my Emma impression. I think it's pretty accurate.
I love Stitchman Darcy so much.
Anyway, so now I'm sucked into this Greenhouse of Oddities stitch along, which is no small feat. It's not a giant full coverage, but it's not small. and I'm enjoying it. So now I got to squeeze this in somehow. It's broken down into parts, like, because it was originally like a stitch along from Lola Crow. So it's broken down into, elements. And the first one is this entire like frame on the outside, which is what I'm doing first. I'm doing it that way instead of just like diving in and just doing whatever. I'm going to do the frame first, and then I'm going to fill it all in after. And I'm going to bitch and complain about not having enough time to do all the things I want to do and all the usual things. Bitch. Because don't forget too, I've also got Jake Wibbs, Baldequin Birdies coming down the road here. This is no small task either. This is a pretty big undertaking, and I'm ready to undertake it as soon as my floss shows up. It's in the mail. I ordered some Roxy floss, Betty White Roxy floss to stitch this up with. It's been shipped. It's in the mail, and once it shows up, I'll be trying to squeeze this in somewhere too. How am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? I've got other things too that I really want to be working on. I've even got things that I haven't even started yet that I want to be working on. Why are you roping me into these humongous new projects? Who is you? Who? I don't even know who I'm talking to. This little Meow cat of mine that I've showed you a few times. Look at the started the tail and just left it there. It looks ridiculous. Anyway, I've got, I know it's still January, but like I'm starting to line up some markets already, and like I'd like to have like some different stuff to show and display. So this was close enough to being finished that I should probably be working on this and finish this one off too, right? I want this done. I've got Why can't I just do this and nothing else? Why do I have to do other things? Do you ever get annoyed sleeping? Sometimes I get annoyed that like, I'll wake up after like 2 or 3 hours of sleep and like, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm just like, I want to get up so badly, but I know that I'm going to be tired later on in the day. So I force myself to go back to sleep and very annoyed. Like I don't enjoy it. I would rather just be wide awake all day long and not have to sleep a few hours of my day away. I'm too busy. I got stuff to do. Anyway, so we got all of those, and I haven't worked on sunflower in the last week or so, but I'm still way into this. You know, I've got now 5 things on the go that I'm very, very enthusiastically into, and more coming. So, you know, why can't, what, remember the old days when I used to just work on one thing at a time? That was great. I finished so many things. I didn't have all these pieces sitting around. No, I shouldn't sound like I'm bitching. I love stitching, and I love all of these things. I'm not bitching about the stitching. I love them. I'm bitching about the fact that there's only 24 hours in a day, and I have other things during that day that I need to be doing. That's annoying. Anyway, I guess, is that enough? Is that 10 minutes worth of bitching for now? Oh man. Hopefully by the time my next segment rolls around, maybe my Roxy floss will have shown up. I can at least show it to you. Whether I've got it started or not yet, I don't know. Maybe that'll be my last little segment, and then I'll have enough for another video. We'll see. Should be here this coming week. I would think. It's shipped from Canada, and I lived in Canada. I mean, my God. Why does it take so long to go from Canada to Canada? Did you know that I shipped something to Emma in England? I took it to the... Listen to this. Strap yourselves in for this one. I took her package to my post office here in little old Canada. I took it to the post office on a Wednesday, and that following Saturday, 3 days later, she had it in her hand in England. If I mailed something to my next door neighbor, it wouldn't show up in 3 days. But she had hers in her hand in England in less than 3 days. 3 days. It's amazing. Does anybody, I couldn't believe it. Anyway, it just sort of makes me chuckle that, like, you know, let's go to England and get it just like that. But can we go from one province to the next in Canada? Nah, it's going to be a couple of weeks at least. Okay. I am in some kind of a mood today. I don't know. This is coming across like I actually feel really good, and I'm like excited to get back to my greenhouse stitching, and like I'm I feel better than I feel like I'm coming across right now. I'm not actually grouchy. I'm just I want to spend my whole life cross stitching, dyeing fabric, designing cross stitches, and really not doing anything else. And sometimes when I'm reminded that I can't do that, I get annoyed. All right. I'll see you in a few days with my Roxy floss. Oh, hey. I'm just a little bit discombobulated right now. I took Dylan to bed, put him down to go to sleep around 7:30 this evening. I laid down with him, said goodnight, and now it's almost 1 a.m. What happened? Where'd my evening go? I just wanted to jump on here real quick before I get started on a new thing, because my Betty White Roxy floss showed up in the mail today, and I figured maybe I'd show you before I get started. Sound like fun? I've been asleep for 5 hours. So here's Jacob's 2025 SAL. In case you forgot what it looks like. I'm sure you didn't, but here it is anyway. And here, look, I've got it all ready to go. Needle in it and everything for the first stitch. This is the fabric I'm going to be stitching it on. And look at this gorgeous Betty White floss that showed up. Oh my goodness. What a pile of floss. Betty White Roxy floss. Remember when it was Leo and Roxy and now it's just Roxy? What happened to Leo? Oh, wait. I know what happened to Leo. Near, far, wherever you are. Anyway, here it is. I just wanted to show you before I get started and turn this into a rat's nest and let you use your imaginations first before you see what it's gonna look like. I'm quite happy. I'm glad, because this stuff don't come cheap, and look how much of it I bought. This is according to Jacob's floss estimator for how much I should need for this. This is about a skein and a half more than I need, but I want to leave some room for imperfections or mistakes. Not that I make mistakes, I don't make mistakes. But it's better just to be safe. You just sit here, and get all the way to the end, and I gotta order one more, because you know how it is. I'll use it for something else if I don't need it. It's actually probably more like 2 skeins extra that I don't need, because I think I'm gonna do the birds themselves in a different color, maybe, instead of just the whole thing being white. I actually meant to look for, a Roxy floss that, oh, hey, look, it's my new hair. I meant to look for a one that was not white, that was maybe like a light yellow or something like that to to do the birds in. I forgot. I just got so excited to just get my Betty Whites. I forgot, but I've got some other fancy flosses here. I don't want it to be, if I do the birds in a different color, I don't want it to be so dramatic, like black and white, or like, I don't want it to be like neon green or something, but something like, I've got this classic Colorworks honeycomb that might be okay. Or I've got this, what's this one? Weeks Dye Works straw. That's kind of a little, like something that's noticeably, see? Something that makes them stand out a little bit, but that isn't super dramatic. This one might be okay. So I think I might do that once I get to the birds. It's fucking 1 a.m. right now. What happened from 7:30 to 1 a.m.? What happened? Okay, I just wanted to show you that before I get started. I could show you some other things. I've been working on. I've got some progress on sunflower. I've got quite a bit of progress on. Oh my god, I've got quite a bit of progress on Greenhouse of Oddities. But I'll just save it all for. I'll just do this for now. Show you the floss. There's the floss. Get it started. Give it a few days, or at least one more day. And I'll get back on here, show you some progress on everything, and that should be enough for another video. Isn't that exciting? How lucky are you that now that I discovered this new thing, you get videos this often. So I think either right now or first thing tomorrow, depending on like how recombobulated I can get, I think I'm going to get this started like pretty much right away. And with a quick, snap of my fingers edit here, you're not going to notice how many days have gone by. It's just then in 3 seconds, you're going to see stitches in it. Just like that. Boom! Boom! There it is. See? Quick, easy, simple. Just like that. What do you think? You liking it? You liking it so far? I think I like it. No, I know I like it. I like it a lot. It took me 2 or 3 days to get this far into it. This pattern's definitely no joke. I mean, it's fun to do, and like it's not crazy complicated or anything. It's big, and there's a lot of Jacob intricacies to it. Maple's about to jump on my head right now. Jesus. Oh shit. It's definitely a lot of fun and enjoyable to work on. I'm really excited about it. I'm really happy with my choice of floss and my choice of beautiful Stitchman fabric. You're like, oh, I wish I had a pretty piece of fabric like that. Well, it's only a click away right down there in my shop. You can get it from me. Did it myself. I'm not sure that I'm going to get through this year or not. Maybe I might. It's not like it's not doable, but considering how much there is to this and how many other things I'm also into, it might sort of just, we're gonna work on whatever we feel like working on at the time. I might get a big burst of inspiration and head all the way down to here before you see me again, or I might not work on it at all. I don't know. But this is the year of do what you want to do. I do what I want when I want. Speaking of what I want when I want, I picked up my cat here, and I got almost all the way through the tail. This is one of my own that I sort of like, I want to get finished up before I start getting back on the market scene, so I can, not just bring the same things year after year. I wanted to refresh it a little bit. And also sometimes it's nice to just, this cat and the tail are all just black. And sometimes it's nice, especially when you're like getting a little bit burned out on full coverage confetti, to just pick up something that is just one color and just go with that one color. Sometimes that's nice. So I got all the way through the tail here, and then after that I just got a little bit of a border with some things around it, and this will be done. Bada bing, bada boom. Things are moving along. I also picked up the Sunflower Cottage, and I didn't put too much into it, but not to downplay it, because there was a lot going on in there. Those 400 stitches that I did. So, I'm trying not to just be like, I had this burst of sunflower inspiration early in the year and then never pick it back up again. I am picking it back up again. I'm still way into it. Emma and I have this goal of being at least 33% finished this by the end of this year. So at that pace, it'll take us 3 more years potentially to finish it, but so it's better than not finishing it, because when did we start this? I'm pretty sure we started this in 2021. So we're already 4 years into it and still on page 2. So, even a very reasonable goal of 33% by the end of the year, at least there's a finish line in sight, and this is actually going to be done. And that's like, so there's 9 pages to this pattern. So 3 pages will be 33%. impressed with my math skills there. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And this is page 2. This is how much is left of page 2. And page 3 is not even a full page. It's like a half page. So I feel like, not to jinx myself, 33% is well within my reach, maybe even beyond that if I stay motivated and into it. So we'll see. But actually, believe it or not, the main thing that I've been working on for the last week or so, or however long it's been to grow this much more beard, is Greenhouse of Oddities. I'm way more into this than I thought I was going to be, and it's going really well. Check it out. Greenhouse of Oddities. What do you think? You like it? So the first part of what was broken down as the parts of the SAL is this whole frame, and it's broken into 6 pages, and this is 2 of the 6 pages. But the ones that are down here really don't look like much. So once I get this part done, I feel like the rest will fall into place pretty quickly. And I've been really enjoying working on this, and I think it's looking pretty good. And what do you think of the fabric? What do you think of that nice green fabric? Huh? You want some? I don't have any for you yet. Maybe I will by the time I post this video, but this is a one-off that I did just for this. And I don't have any more as of this moment, but maybe I will. Check it out. Click on the link down below if you want some. Maybe there's some there. I don't know. So that's what I've been working on up till this moment. And in other very exciting stitchy news, did you see that finally, after all these years, my good friend Alyssa Jones finally posted a new Flosstube? Have you watched it yet? You should. And if you haven't, I'm going to link it conveniently down below so that you can. One of my closest stitchy friends, after a year and a half or more of hounding her, she finally made a new one, and I'm going to claim full credit for that. It only took me 575 days consecutively and consistently of harassing her until she finally made a new video. And did you see? You're going to see this one coming a mile away, but did you see what she said about me in that video? I'll play it for you here just in case you missed it.
Darcy Cameron, Stitchman Darcy, just hits me right in the heart. Darcy sent me a picture of part of his leg, his foot, his little wonky face. And I have no idea what I'm going to do with him, but I do love him.
Lovely. What a lovely young lady. I do love my stitchy friends. And all of you, and not to rank my friends or anything like that. I love all of you equally. People who comment on the videos, and people who watch the videos, and people I talk to sometimes here and there. It doesn't really matter. You're all equally. You have an equal chunk of the Stitchman heart. But well, there's a but attached to that. There is a little handful of people who keep all of this from becoming a much bigger mess than it is. Whatever I'm doing, or whatever I'm working on, or whatever I'm feeling, or whatever random thought I have, one of these few people, and usually all of these few people, hear about it on an absolutely relentlessly, multiple times a day, daily basis. They bear the brunt of my friendship, if for lack of a better word. So you can thank them for that. It's a heavy burden. Those people would be Emma, obviously, Alyssa, who just said all those nice things about me, Rai, who also has been missing in action for like a year and a half now, and yes, I work on him every single day. He'll be back soon enough. Don't worry about it. He's just being lazy. And actually, to put your minds at ease, I talk to Chris Cross-Stitch on a very regular basis as well. And I know he's been kind of absent too, and it's not really my place to tell you all about his life or whatever, because I'm sure he'll be back to tell you all about it. But not to worry, because I know people worry about him. You don't have to worry about him. He's just frolicking in the New Hampshire snow and not stitching. He's doing just fine. I do like to make fun of him for when he complains about how quote unquote cold it is down there in New Hampshire. Cold. He'll tell me what temperature it is, and I'll convert that from weird American Fahrenheit into Celsius, and I'll just be like, for real, like for actually real. And maybe this is why Canada gets like such a reputation for we all live in igloos or something like that. Because it really is a frozen wonderland up here in the wintertime, because the temperatures that are like so cold down in the United States. For real, here where I live, people would be walking around without jackets. That's not cold. Ooh, it's 10 degrees down here. Ooh, it's 10. You poor thing. It's minus 35 here, which even in, you change that to Fahrenheit. What is that? Like it's minus 22, minus 25, something like that. Ooh, it's 10. Oh, sorry, princess, with your 10 degrees. Want me to knit you a blanket? Don't you just love that I'm trying to maintain an audience and a loyal customer base, and I just berate you and make fun of you right to your face. You can take it. So that is it for the Stitch Talk, and that's probably it for a video. If you want, because it's fresh in my mind, a really quick non-Stitch thing. I just within the last hour or so got home from the movie theater. I went to the theater all by myself, like the cool guy that I am, and I saw The Brutalist. I sat there in that theater chair for 4 hours watching The Brutalist. Thank goodness we have maybe this is standard everywhere. I don't know what you have, but we don't have the old uncomfortable movie theater seats like we used to have. They're full on big fluffy recliners with you're 6 miles away from the person in front of you. It's like being in a really comfortable living room going to the movie theater now. So that was incentive to go. Made it a little bit easier. What was I? Oh yeah, the actual movie. I mean, I can see why it's probably going to win all the Oscars, and it's I don't know how I feel about it right now. I'm going to have to think about it. It was good. Obviously, it was really good, really well acted. It wasn't boring. I'm not complaining about how long it is or anything. I wasn't sitting there going oh my god, I'm so this movie's so long. When's it going to end? I didn't feel like that. But I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know. So if you're wondering about The Brutalist and is it worth your time and should you go see it, and you want my advice and my review of it, I don't know. I'm not really sure right now. That's all you're gonna get. So I would say that this is probably more than enough for a new video. So I will stop talking about nonsense and I will get right on that. And I will shave this beard. And maybe, if you're lucky, the next time I sit down here, I'll put a different sweater on. Maybe. Probably not, but maybe. Until then, thanks for everything. Go click on the things with all the information down below here because it's got my Etsy shop and the fabrics that you love, and it's got all of my friends that you're dying to watch. So make sure you watch all of them and make sure you do all the things. And I'll see you next time.
I love Stitchman Darcy so much.
And I have no idea what I'm going to do with him, but I do love him.